My mother-in-law's children all cut her off, and now I understand why.
Uh-oh, the truth is revealed.
My fiance Nick, 25 male, and I, 25 female, have been together for almost 5 years and are getting married next year. For context, Nick has 3 other siblings, Haley, 23 female, Ella, 20 female, and Christian, 26 male. Before I met Nick, my future mother-in-law had cheated on their dad/stepdad, Aaron. At the time, Ella was still in school, and she ended up staying with Aaron. From what I heard, their relationship wasn't great, but we all agree that gives no right for her to cheat. My future mother-in-law had ended up moving in with the guy she cheated with, Evan. And by the way, this comes from a user LazyCucumber5198 on the r/charlottedobreyoutube subreddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So when I met Nick and we started the meet the parents stage, he wasn't too keen on going to see them because of Evan. I apologized because I know this question will come up. I have no idea while she was cheating if he knew it was cheating. We had dinner at their home, and Nick actually warmed up to Evan. I reminded Nick that even though what your mother did wasn't okay, that doesn't mean you have to put that hurt and anger onto Evan. Sometime later, we had the financial talk, and I found out that he helps my future mother-in-law out a lot. I grew up with parents that had the mindset that we are their children regardless if we are adults. Although my parents have asked for my help in the past, it was typically for bills that were hitting before their paychecks, so I would always get the money back within a few days. This was not that situation. My future mother-in-law was asking for money because she was on disability and couldn't work. My fiance tried many methods of getting her to go to school or find a work-from-home job, but she refused. I noticed pretty quickly that the money she was asking for wasn't going to what she said it was going to either. Although it was pointed out, he would still help her. I had no problem with him doing this, but reminded him that this was not normal and I would not be helping in any capacity because I know when I see it. One time, about 1.5 years into our relationship, Nick was in the middle of training for a new job when he realized he needed to fix his personal finance situation. He called my future mother-in-law to ask about a loan their bank offers to get a better understanding of what it was like. During that call, she had showed him something on Facebook Marketplace for the 3 dogs she had. An hour after that phone call, she called asking for money for some doctor's appointment. However, it was the same amount of money for the thing on Facebook Marketplace. He obviously told her no and that he didn't have money, which is why he was asking about the loan. I will say his financial situation has gotten so much better and he's in a much better place. Evan got sometime in 2021 and went through long and hard treatments. He almost lost his job because of it, but in 2022 he was free. My future mother-in-law and Evan got married in 2022 and bought a house much further away from Aaron's home. It's mainly Evan's house, as future mother-in-law has extremely bad credit. Future mother-in-law, in her and Aaron's relationship, had taken credit cards out in his name and maxed them out. She also was so entranced by Haley buying a nice car that she had to buy one of her own, even though she could barely pay for it. Future mother-in-law had to continue trading in her vehicles until she got one she could actually afford. During that process, she asked Nick and Haley if they could co-sign with her, which they both refused to do. But future mother-in-law did get a job and knew that disability checks were not covering bills anymore. Future mother-in-law does have some health issues, but can do a majority of things without issue. The majority is from a botched surgery she had years ago and mental health issues. In 2023, we got engaged. I started training for a new job and had moved in with Nick. In early 2024, future mother-in-law didn't like the job she was at and at some points was showing self-harm thoughts and potential issues. Thankfully, that got a little better. However, one of her issues during that time was that Haley and Ella weren't talking to her and being nice. Now, throughout our entire relationship, future mother-in-law is the type of mother that calls her children every day and complains to the majority of the phone call about her own problems. Future mother-in-law will call 100 times a day if you don't answer, and I'm not exaggerating. Are we blocking our mom for calling us 100 times?
You might have to. You might have to if it's not going to work. I don't know. Maybe block her for the day and then call her later.
Definitely not. It just is like a,
Yeah.
I just want to let you know that that's not the way that you get someone to answer the phone.
Right. Because maybe she won't understand, like, oh, if my call just like fully isn't going through, that means that she's blocked. Like, maybe she doesn't know that, and she's just like, oh, I just can't call right now. It's not working.
I'm seeing it right now. She's gonna call. It's gonna hang up, and then she's gonna be like, "Oh my God, something happened." She's gonna call 911, get the police involved.
Dude, that would be crazy.
And then that would be maybe I don't know. Jeez
That'd be
Louise.
crazy.
Yeah, this is clearly a huge problem that needed to be addressed a long time ago.
Yeah.
Nick had to talk to Haley and Ella about their attitude with future mother-in-law and that they needed to call more. Future mother-in-law job searched and suddenly wanted to go into a similar field as me. My job is not an easy job, to the point that you have to be physically and mentally fit to be able to do it, or you could hurt yourself. There is a high percentage of self-harm in my profession. I told her it was a bad idea and she was not fit for this job. The day before training started, she thankfully dropped out. Future mother-in-law ended up finding a somewhat more suitable job at the county animal shelter.
What job is this? My goodness. This has to be some sort of like, not just like high stress, but something, I don't know.
When I was briefly in between lives and I was like, what am I doing? I did briefly consider going into the military and becoming a drone pilot.
Oh, yeah?
And then I looked more into the information about the PTSD rates and also like the...
Like self-harming?
Yeah, and I was like, nah, that maybe actually I
Wow.
don't need that in my life at
Dang.
all.
Yeah.
This created more problems as she took in more pets that she couldn't afford and was getting hurt on the job all the time. At one point, she had 6 dogs and 3 cats. She had built a catio, which was a large chicken coop outside, not connected to the house, where the 3 cats stayed. We live in a southern state. She had the cats locked up in the outdoor catio? That's not how that works. That's a come and go open door policy.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like connected to your door or
Yeah.
some sort of entrance somehow.
It's supposed to go from the inside to the outside so
Yeah.
that they can just go outside without going outside
They're not
all the way.
supposed to live on the patio.
Oh my God.
Even if it's cats.
It's like being like, I got a dog, but it just lives in the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly.
What? As a cat owner myself, I almost yelled at her for animal cruelty for those cats. Even Haley, who owned one of the cats, was really upset, and when she told future mother-in-law how she felt about it, future mother-in-law didn't care. After future and mother-in-law wanted a similar job to me, I started looking at other things and noticed a pattern. Future and mother-in-law was trying to be like me in some weird way. I noticed she had changed her hair color to be similar to mine, mainly black and red. Future mother-in-law got a lot more tattoos. With what money, I have no idea, and when I met her, she had like 3. I have 15 tattoos now, and she has way more. And she's gotten a bunch of facial piercings. I have 1 eyebrow piercing. This will come into play later. In mid-2024, Evan found out that the had spread and it was much worse than the last time. Evan was done fighting and decided he didn't want to go through any more treatments and just live out his life until he was gone. Everyone else in the family respected that and understood his reasoning behind it. Future mother-in-law did not, and she started to get progressively worse mentally. Nick and I had bought a house and kind of combined our finances. We have our account we share for bills, and then we have our own personal accounts for whatever we want to do. Nick still continued to help future mother-in-law for gas money, doctor's appointments, etc. Well, during one of Evan and future mother-in-law's arguments, Evan texted Nick and told him that the money he's been giving to future mother-in-law was going to other things and gave examples. Future mother-in-law texted Nick and said she was leaving Evan because she couldn't handle how he treated her and that he didn't want to go through the treatments. Evan, by this point, had left his job because he could no longer physically do it and is on disability checks. Nick, for the first time, told future mother-in-law off, explaining that she hasn't proven to be better by any means and was still basically a financial and emotional succubus that only thought of herself and not what anyone else was going through. Future mother-in-law got upset and would not take any accountability whatsoever. Nick took time to cool off and slowly let her back into his life. She tried to text me a few times, but I was very short and to the point with her, as I was not getting involved and I did not need her doing that to me. This was all because future mother-in-law was planning to buy a shed but needed Nick's help to do so that when Evan passed away, she could live in it in the backyard and rent out the house. LOL. Nick obviously said he was not co-signing on anything with her, which started the argument. Around this time, too, future and mother-in-law had asked who Nick's priority was, me or her. And he obviously chose me and told her that she can't get mad for ever asking that question.
Yeah.
Duh.
That's stupid. Is it your future wife or me, your mother? It's like, why are you even bringing that? That's a stupid question to ask. It's stupid.
Would
You're
you love me
stupid.
if I was a worm? No.
No, because I'm not attracted to worms.
You'd be a worm. I wouldn't know
You'd be a worm.
anything about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
How could you say that to me? It's so mean.
Yeah. You hear
That's where we're at.
that? Yeah.
Okay. Duh. I'm his fiance, the woman he's going to marry, who he lives with, etc., etc. Spring 2025, Haley goes no contact with future mother-in-law. Haley was already annoyed by how her mother was acting and constantly asking for money. She would refuse to listen to what job schedule she had and called randomly when she isn't allowed to have her phone. Haley was overall tired of her complaining, and I fully understood and advised that I was proud of her for making that decision. Nick had a hard time with it, but understood his sister's decision. I had to explain to him that this includes talking about Haley to future mother-in-law, as that will create more issues and make future mother-in-law want to reach out to Haley when she is no contact. Nick didn't like it, but understood. Late spring 2024-5, future mother-in-law decided to go rogue. Nick called me while I was working night shift to tell me that Evan had removed future mother-in-law from the home and he had no idea where she was or what she was doing. Nick at this point was so tired of her BS, but still felt obligated to help her. Nick explained that because of his Mexican heritage, where a family always helps family, even though his mother was unhelpable, he still felt the need to help her. We ended up having a conversation with my parents because he needed outside perspective on the matter. We were afraid that she was coming to stay with us and would randomly show up at the house. My parents were able to help us formulate a plan in case she showed up at our door asking for help. It mainly was made up of specific boundaries and rules that she had to follow. Future mother-in-law thankfully called him the next day and was nowhere near us, but at a coworker's house or something. Haley had spoken with Evan, who advised he did not do what she said he did, like remove her from the house. She left on her own accord after an argument and took the 3 dogs she had left with her. Evan was not barring her from the house or whatever she was owed in a divorce if she wanted it. Evan was honestly just over it. Future mother-in-law was told to get rid of all of her pets. Thankfully, most were adoptable, except one of the dogs that was so poorly trained it could not be with anyone without being aggressive, so he had to be put down. While staying with that coworker, she borrowed money from them to buy an air mattress for a guest in the room she was staying in.
What? For her guest? In a room that she doesn't even own?
I'm just gonna go to sleep.
Yeah. Nap time.
You gotta be dreaming thinking that you're inviting guests over.
That's why. And then having them pay for the air mattress? That's crazy.
This
That's
is just
cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
how
guys.
did we get here? How are we still letting this? How?
I don't know.
A few days ago, Ella received a call from future mother-in-law, and at first it was normal. Then a man came on the phone and explained that he was the guy that future mother-in-law had first cheated on Aaron with, and he could now have her. He explained future mother-in-law was safe, healthy, and happy with him, and a bunch of other weird stuff. Ella was super freaked out and called me upset because of it. Evan then sent a text to Haley where he had seen future mother-in-law out with this man. Future mother-in-law found out that Evan knew of her new quote-unquote relationship and is now apparently tormenting him by texting him constantly. Mother-in-law cheated on Aaron with more than just this one guy she had been with. So she cheated with this new guy first.
Yeah.
And then Evan didn't even know.
Apparently.
Future mother-in-law tried friending me on Facebook with this new profile where her hair is now blonde. I recently started going blonde a few months ago. Not fully blonde because where my previous hair dye is, but slowly I'm becoming blonde. Future mother-in-law randomly bought a crotch rocket bike that I don't think she can drive and is living with this man. Nick and Haley went to visit Ella, Aaron, and Christian over the next couple weeks. Haley told me that she was going to visit Evan because she felt bad and wanted to make sure he understood that he was still part of the family, especially with all of his health problems. I told her to let him know that I was with her and that if he needed anything to not hesitate to reach out. Well, turns out that future mother-in-law had taken out 2 credit cards in his name and maxed them out too, basically the same thing she did to Aaron. Now, Nick, on the other hand, didn't like that Haley and Ella were taking Evan to dinner. However, Nick went to see future mother-in-law. He basically sounded like we shouldn't be taking sides, and I asked him why he was going to see future mother-in-law then. His response was, I don't want to be a part of her self-harm note.
Yikes, man. Yikes.
Like, does your mom need inpatient, my guy? Like, I think we're being awfully dismissive over something that is like a really, really big concern.
Yeah.
If you are worried that your mom is in a place where she could do that, like, she needs to get it addressed.
Right. We need to help her. And if this is not a person that these people like want to be around to help her get her professional help, it definitely should be something that we are talking about in a more serious way, I think.
I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a mental health professional. However, based on all of the behavior I'm reading in this story, it sounds like your mom is just in like a constant mental health crisis.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
I would be so deeply disturbed by the mimicking of my fiance. If I'm the son, I'm like, hey.
It's so weird, man. That's so weird.
Yeah. So at this point, I'm at a loss for words. On one hand, I do see where Nick is coming from, and I'm grateful I'm not stuck like other fiancés and wives where he defends her because he honestly hasn't. He just deals with it. However, at the same time, I really wish he would just let that part of him go and go no contact. She's probably the worst thing for his mental health and is always dragging him down. I believe he isn't giving her money anymore, but still. As I was writing this, I was on the phone with him, and he had to end the call because future mother-in-law would not stop calling him. Nick did say one thing about Evan that put me off, and that is that he isn't family. Haley, Ella, and I disagree in that he put up with future mother-in-law just as we have, and honestly, I'd say he's family. And by the way, I'll say you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this one on your favorite podcasting platform, be it Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you listen. Just search OK Storytime, and you can listen to the full archive. Wow.
Do it.
I'm going to be honest with all of you. I hated reading that story, and I needed that moment between me and Keon. So we have a little bit of story left. Like, you know, again, already today, I'm like, normalize cutting off people who are not good for you. Like, that you don't like.
I know, because it's hard, because, like, in the last story, it was so much easier because it was just a friend, and this is a mom, but it still is like, oh, my gosh. Like, he just puts up with her. He doesn't even try to make excuses. He knows that she's acting all cuckoo, but he also knows he can't do anything about it. So it's like, what do you do with that? I think, like we were saying earlier, try to get her some kind of help, because this is not good. Not good forever.
Yeah, unsustainable. Let's finish this story. Now for the wedding. Since Haley is no contact, she's okay with coming to the wedding, knowing future mother-in-law is invited. I revoked future mother-in-law's +1, which would have been Evan, but I already know she's going to try to bring this new guy. Haley and Ella fully believe she's going to ruin our wedding somehow because no one wants to babysit her. Nick the other night said Haley had to do it, and she goes, no, the F I'm not. She needs to stay away from me. That's crazy that Nick said Haley, who is no contact with their mother, needs to be the one to look out for her during the wedding.
Couldn't have picked a worse person.
I feel like, Nick is blinded by either just the traditions or whatever. He can't look past the idea of what he should do or should be to what is. He's not able to see what it is.
Yeah.
I reamed him out for that one because we've had the no contact discussion and he apologized. I'm going to defend my fiance because he has way bigger issues going on in his life than dealing with his mother, so him thinking that far ahead and what could happen isn't in his mind right now, and he's honestly the type of person to push stuff like this in the back of his head to try to forget it. I don't feel like my future mother-in-law will ever take over our relationship because he has already expressed losing me over future mother-in-law drama and stuff, especially when we thought she was on her way here that one time. I just wanted to share and can hopefully update in a year when my wedding happens because I'm sure there will be more drama coming our way. Let's see what this commenter has to say.
Let's see it.
Because I'm honestly at a loss.
Yeah.
Comment 1. Since you pointed out how much future mother-in-law imitates you, I expect her to show up in a white dress. Also, is Nick her favorite child? It seems that way to me. I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but it sounds like she asks him for help the most. It sounds like she's looking for men who will take care of her, Aaron, Evan, the new guy, and when they stop suiting her, she temporarily replaces their support or financing with Nick. I'm sorry, OP. I don't think this situation will improve on its own. Your future mother-in-law will always be irresponsible with money and will always expect everyone to help her since it's worked for her in the past. I don't think you can change the situation. It sounds like the only person who can do anything about it is Nick. People who are desperate have no problem saving money or taking a job they don't like. It seems like your future mother-in-law has never been in a desperate situation because she knows that even if everything goes wrong, Nick will help her. And that is the end of that story.
I prohibited my sister-in-law from coming over because she always causes trouble.
Here comes trouble.
So some background. My girlfriend, I'm proposing next month, and I currently have an apartment in a very nice neighborhood. We are fortunate enough to also have access to the clubhouse pool, which we frequently go to cool off after we've been working all day. By the way, this comes from Traditional Girl 6100. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So a bit on my girlfriend's sister. She is a little wild and is known for excessive public drinking and causing scenes wherever she goes. Anyway, to the story now. Last Monday, my girlfriend got home from work and said that her sister wanted to go to the pool while she was at work. Her sister doesn't really work, only 1 to 2 days a week, and still lives at home. Their conversation looked like this. Girlfriend, how are you going to get into the pool without a car to get there and without your key card? Girlfriend's sister, I'll just Uber and I can look around our parents' house for that spare key you gave them. Girlfriend, I think they lost it, but you can try. Now, it was a short conversation, but a few things. Number 1, her sister is a known klepto who steals and pawns stuff in order to go to bars. It's happened multiple times at her parents' house where she has stolen things to make money. And 2, she does not have a car because she has crashed 5 and cannot have a license for another few years. Wow, that's a lot of times crashing cars. And 3, she has only been in our apartment when either my girlfriend is there or we both are, for reason number 1, and has invited random people over while we were there without us knowing. For the reasons above, I expressed to my girlfriend that I don't think we should allow her into our apartment alone without one of us present. As well as we could get in trouble with the HOA or complex if she were to get into it with anyone or anything, which could cause issues for us down the road. Along with this, I also said we needed to have a conversation with her parents to let them know to either find the key and give it back to us or hide it in a spot her sister would never look. My girlfriend kind of shrugged it off and said that it's not a big deal and she can go to the pool. It's not like anything would happen and wouldn't get in trouble if anything were to happen. I feel like if I keep pushing, it may cause issues between me and my future sister-in-law, but selfishly, I don't want her around our stuff, but can't help feeling like an a-hole. Am I in the wrong? And there is an edit.
Well, is the question, am I wrong for not wanting the known thief to be hanging out around my stuff and have access to it? Nope. Not wrong about that.
Yeah, no, I don't think so at all. She has a literal record of all of this stuff, and the sister knows that, and the sister is like, yeah, like, you're not gonna be getting this information from anyone else but the sister, so she's gotta know that all this stuff is true. So it's like, maybe talk to your sister and be like, well, Kim, how do you really feel about this? Because knowing the same information that you do, I can't help but to fear her being around my things unattended. You know what I mean? So maybe you can get some perspective, but definitely not the a-hole. But there is an edit. I feel I gotta say this because I did paint her in a bad light unintentionally. My girlfriend is nothing like her sister, and that's why I love her. She is hardworking, smart, and genuinely a one-of-a-kind person. As for her family, excluding her sister, they are all hardworking, genuine people, so not sure exactly what happened in the 3-year age difference between the two. For the most part, we are on the same page about her sister. They have had a rocky relationship with her, and she wants to believe she's changing for the better. But I think it's getting harder and harder for my girlfriend to think that. She cut all contact with her at the beginning of the year, which was a whole thing, but now she's wanting to be the bigger person and try to fix what she can. The consensus from the comments is not the a-hole. Comment number 1 says, dude, this sounds like a nightmare. Not the a-hole. Set boundaries. If the girlfriend can't support and respect them, as well as understand the financial liability her sister causes, do not propose. Explain where you are coming from. Explain this is a hard boundary, and if she cannot respect it and you, then you need to think about the future. Opie says, let me preface, my girlfriend is usually on my side when it comes to her sister. They've had their own issues. It's just this one small thing that we don't see eye to eye on. We are still talking through it all. And overall, I think we both think the same regarding this. It's just different to my girlfriend because that's her big sister who's her family. Family is very important to her as a side note. Commenter number 2, family or not, big sister who acts like a child or not, liability is liability. You and your girlfriend are on the lease, not the sister. If the sister does something, who is legally and financially responsible? Who will the management company hold responsible? Some rando or the people they have a contract with? Opie says, good point. I texted her and we're going to sit down and talk about it tonight. I will update you all on what happens. Hopefully I won't have to return the ring, lol. Commenter number, this is 3 now. They're behind on that. Are you sure you want to marry into this family? This is some serious baggage. OP says her sister's literally the outlier. My girlfriend and her parents are all hardworking, normal people, so it's strange when I think about it. But I have almost popped the question before, but didn't because of family. But I actually get along with her parents and extended family very well. It's just her sister, which I'm not sure what to think of.
How are you going to let one sibling spoil your whole relationship? Like,
yeah, that's hard. Yeah, I think these people, like, because OP's not the one thinking, like, I need out of this relationship. It's all these commenters that are like, you can't even marry this, your girlfriend.
Don't marry her. Her sister's a thief.
Yeah, it's like
what?
No. No.
Dude, that's the sister's fault. Why are we breaking up?
Yeah.
God dang. I mean, like, if it was a whole family of criminals, it's like, all right, that's maybe a different conversation.
Sure. OP is literally just disagreeing over this one thing. And it's just like, how do I talk to my girlfriend about this? And I feel like if she understands like these other stuff, I'm kind of surprised that she is okay with this. But maybe ask her about that. Maybe ask why she's okay when she's not okay with all this other stuff. Conversation, people. But there are still a few more comments. Commenter number 4 says, as someone who worked in property management for both apartments and an HOA, I hated when families would show up to use the facilities without the actual resident and then get butthurt when asked to leave. If a resident gave their keys to a non-resident and were not present when using the facilities, it would mean that they would lose their privileges. They had one warning. Second was never again.
Boo, you're describing being a narc. Boo, what you're describing is also bad and I don't like it. Boo.
My boss trespassed a teenage boy and his friends for coming without parents. Rules are rules.
Boo.
Yeah, that's lame.
You deserve to be booed for this, commenter.
She is your guest. You are taking responsibility for her. You are responsible for what she does. You could lose your privileges. And I bet if you read your lease and HOA rules, it will have something stated in there about the use of facilities, which may cause you to be evicted. OP says this is great insight into it. Thank you.
What a respectful reply. Also, I think the founding fathers would start another revolutionary war if they came back to this time and learned about HOAs. They would go to war against every HOA in the country.
It's pretty wild.
Immediately, and then also other stuff.
Commenter number 5, this might be the last one. OP, you can ask your management to reissue you new key cards due to losing one. Ask them to deactivate the old ones. I had to do this with an old key fob I lost for my community's pool. Also, bigger person doesn't mean giving in. She was already no contact. Being the bigger person is giving her another chance with the exceptions that boundaries are established and respected. That second part is important for rebuilding trust. OP says the issue with the first part is that a new key card is something crazy like $250, which won't unalive me, but just seems outrageous. My girlfriend is about to get home from work, so we're about to talk, but I will make an update post tomorrow, letting you all know how it goes. Kind of nervous, but also excited in a weird way. I just think depending on how this conversation goes, tells me what I'll be doing next month. And guess what? We do have that update. So last night, my girlfriend got home from work and we had a conversation about the whole ordeal. I started off with how many of you suggested, and I brought up a copy of our lease agreement as well as HOA and clubhouse rules. In both, it clearly states that any guests who use the facilities provided must be accompanied by the owners of the lease. Failure to do this may lead to immediate eviction or financial liability.
Oh my God, that's the hottest thing ever, OP. You just quoted back the HOA agreement. Look, and to be clear, I don't support her. Like, I don't like the sister in this story, but in general, let your friend use your pool. Don't get over it. Come on.
Yeah. I know. I really think that the HOA rules are just coming in to like just try to get anything to get this girl out of here and not let her stay. After pointing this out, my girlfriend said that she understood that part and she has been thinking about how she acted during this whole thing as well. She went on to explain that for once, she just wanted to treat her sister as her big sister and not a kid that constantly needed watching. Well, I guess after giving her examples of ways that this could backfire on us and the sisters already thin trust with us, she agreed with me and we decided it would be best to do the following. We can try and find the spare key from her parents' house and retrieve it. My girlfriend is going today to do this. We can contact our landlords and have our locks changed. This works out because our front door locks are starting to stick. We can set clear boundaries with the sister. This includes not being here unless one of us is present, no invitation to random people to come over, and if that is done, she has to leave, and if anything is not followed, then contact will be cut. My girlfriend already sent her a text message about this, and I told her that I can be the bad guy if she would like me to. Her mom actually called me today and said that what I did was a very adult way to go about it, and she appreciates me also standing up for my girlfriend to her sister. And I would appreciate it if you went to iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is, and search OK Storytime, because you're going to find full episodes with more stories just like this one. I'd appreciate it so much. Go do it. Go.
Do that.
There is a little bit more to the story, but okay, we're getting some agreement here. We've got the mom to back them up. That's great. It's always a relief when OP is like not told that they're crazy by everyone else in the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's always a relief.
You did have all those commenters being like, don't marry your girlfriend.
Don't marry her. Yeah,
but
that's just the internet, man.
I'm just really hung up now on this. I hate HOAs. And
yeah,
I'm annoyed that quoting the HOA rule about using the pool is what got your wife to be like, okay, I was thinking about how I talk. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It's more like she's going to steal all of our stuff.
Right.
Because your sister's kind of got problems that need addressing. If anything, setting her up and catching her stealing from you so that she can have consequences for it might be the best thing you can actually do for her.
Yeah.
She needs consequences. That's why she won't stop. It's because she constantly gets away with it.
Yeah, but there's a little bit more to the story.
Let's go.
The biggest thing that I also think helped was putting this in future perspective with my girlfriend. I laid out a scenario of when we hopefully have a house one day and kids as well. Would we let someone who has a known booze problem as well as issues with stealing and safety watch our children alone? She started to cry and said no. I explained to her that that's why we need hard boundaries now so that they are not crossed in the future when we have bigger responsibility. Relevant comments. Commenter number 1 says, not the a-hole, I think you're doing the right thing by setting clear boundaries early on. But I can see how it might feel overwhelming to handle such a sensitive situation with family dynamics involved. What if there's a way to involve a neutral third party to mediate without making things more complicated? OP says, if it gets to that point where I need a neutral third party, I will consider it. As of now, it seems like what I did has worked, but who knows? I might be posting again next month. Thankfully, even her parents are silently on my side as well. That will maybe count for something. And now we have a commenter that was downvoted. Maybe my family is different, but you don't need to ask to come over. It's auto. This is my house and my family's house. They can walk in and do whatever they want with whoever they want. But clearly, we come from 2 different cultures, so if your girl is okay with it, then by all means. But my man, no, my family is showing whenever they want with whoever they want, okay? OP says it may be a cultural difference, which is okay. I just don't think it's very appropriate to have a family member bring a random over without informing you first. But I guess I could be the weird one. That also goes for my side of the family as well. Commenter number 2 says, you handled it super well. Laying out the rules and talking it through calmly was the right move. Just stick to your plan. Her sister tries to push it again, because keeping those boundaries firm will save a lot of future drama. OP says, that's the name of the game right now. Just keeping the boundaries in place and followed. We'll have one more commenter. Comment number 3 says, just here to say, I'm proud of you. You did the right thing and thank you for supporting your girlfriend. OP says, I feel like that's part of why I'm here, you know? She has a hard time standing up for herself, and I've seen big improvements by her in this. Anytime something happens to her, we always talk it out and maybe different ways to handle it. And that is the end of that story.